Right now, as you're watching this, there's a woman somewhere thinking about a man who never said a single romantic word to her, yet she can't get him out of her mind. She replays moments with him over and over, analyzing every gesture, every glance, every subtle movement he made. What did he do differently? How did he create this magnetic pull without uttering a single pickup line or declaration of interest? The answer lies in something far more powerful than words. It lies in the ancient art of nonverbal seduction, a skill that has been wielded by the most successful men throughout history, yet remains completely invisible to the untrained eye. You see, while most men waste their energy crafting the perfect text message or rehearsing clever conversation starters, the truly magnetic men operate on a completely different level. They understand a fundamental truth that evolutionary psychology has proven time and time again. Attraction is not created in the mind through logical conversation, but in the subconscious through primal, nonverbal cues that trigger deep-seated biological responses. When Robert Greene wrote about the power of nonverbal communication in The Art of Seduction, he wasn't just sharing dating advice, he was revealing the psychological triggers that have controlled human behavior for millennia. What I'm about to share with you today goes beyond simple body language tips or alpha male posturing. These are 7 specific, scientifically backed moves that tap directly into her evolutionary programming, creating desire at the most fundamental level. Each move works independently, but when combined, they create an irresistible gravitational pull that she won't be able to resist or even fully understand. The beauty of these techniques is their subtlety. She'll feel drawn to you without knowing why, which makes the attraction feel natural and authentic rather than manipulated. The first secret move that triggers her desire operates through what psychologists call strategic withdrawal, but not in the way you might think. This isn't about playing hard to get or being dismissive. Instead, it's about mastering the art of calculated physical positioning that creates psychological tension. When you're in a social setting with her, instead of orbiting around her like most men do, you position yourself at angles that create what researchers call approach avoidance conflict in her mind. You stand close enough that she's aware of your presence, but positioned in such a way that she has to turn or move slightly to fully engage with you. This subtle positioning forces her to make micro-decisions to pursue interaction with you, and each time she makes that small effort, her brain interprets it as investment, which psychologically increases your value in her mind. Mystery, the legendary pickup artist who inspired Neil Strauss's The Game, understood this principle intuitively. He called it negative space positioning, occupying the spaces around a woman's attention rather than demanding it directly. When you master this technique, you create what behavioral economists call the scarcity effect. Her brain begins to perceive you as a limited resource that requires effort to access. The key is in the execution. You're not being aloof or uninterested, you're being strategically present while maintaining psychological distance. Your body language remains open and confident, but your positioning creates natural moments where she has to choose to engage with you rather than having your attention freely available. The second move involves mastering what I call micro-mirroring with delayed timing, a technique that creates subconscious rapport while maintaining your unique identity. Most men either mirror too obviously, which feels creepy, or don't mirror at all, which creates disconnect. The secret lies in mirroring her emotional state and energy level with a 3 to 5 second delay, and then adding your own variation to the behavior. If she laughs at something, you allow the moment to breathe, then respond with a knowing smile that shows you appreciate the humor but aren't reactive to it. If she touches her hair while talking to you, you might casually adjust your collar or run your hand through your hair 30 seconds later, creating a subconscious echo of her movement. This technique is rooted in neuroscience research on mirror neurons, which fire both when we perform an action and when we observe others performing the same action. Dr. Marco Iacoboni's research at UCLA demonstrated that mirror neurons create the foundation for empathy and social bonding. By engaging her mirror neurons with strategic timing, you create a neurological connection while maintaining your independence. The delay is crucial. It prevents you from seeming needy or reactive, while still creating the subconscious bond that makes her feel understood and connected to you on a deeper level. The third secret move is perhaps the most powerful and least understood: strategic vulnerability through controlled exposure. This isn't about sharing your deepest fears or childhood trauma. Instead, it's about revealing small, carefully chosen imperfections or struggles that make you relatable while maintaining your overall attractive frame. Research by social psychologist Elliot Aronson proved through his pratfall effect experiments that people find others more likable when they show minor flaws, but only if they're otherwise competent and confident. The key is in the timing and the type of vulnerability you reveal. You might mention how you're terrible at remembering names but excellent at remembering faces, or how you can negotiate million-dollar deals but can't figure out how to fold a fitted sheet. These admissions serve multiple psychological functions. They demonstrate self-awareness, which is an attractive trait. They create opportunities for her to feel helpful or superior in small ways, which triggers nurturing instincts. And they make you seem more human and approachable, despite your obvious strengths. The vulnerability must be genuine but strategically chosen. It should be something that doesn't undermine your core attractiveness while making her feel special for being trusted with this information. The fourth move leverages what evolutionary psychologists call pre-selection indicators through strategic social positioning. This goes far beyond simply being seen with other attractive women, though that's certainly part of it. The real power lies in demonstrating that you're chosen and valued by others without explicitly stating it. When you're in social situations, you position yourself as someone who others naturally gravitate toward for advice, opinions, or simply enjoyable conversation. You become the person who others reference when making plans or decisions. This technique works because of a fundamental principle in human psychology. We determine value through social proof. If others treat you as valuable, she will subconsciously assume you must be valuable. The key is that this pre-selection must appear effortless and natural. You're not bragging about your friendships or accomplishments. Instead, these things become evident through the way others interact with you. Perhaps someone asks for your recommendation on a restaurant, or a friend defers to your expertise on a topic, or you casually mention plans that demonstrate others want to spend time with you. Each of these moments builds evidence in her mind that you're someone worth pursuing. David D'Angelo emphasized this principle in his work on attraction, noting that women are constantly scanning for evidence of a man's social value through observing how others treat him. When she sees that other people, especially other women, find you engaging and worthwhile, it triggers what psychologists call the bandwagon effect, where the perceived popularity of something increases its actual popularity. You become more attractive simply because others find you attractive. The fifth secret move involves mastering emotional state control through environmental anchoring. This is an advanced technique that involves associating positive emotional states with your presence through careful manipulation of environmental factors. Unlike direct emotional manipulation, which can feel forced, this technique works through subtle environmental cues that create positive associations with you on a subconscious level. The technique works by identifying her current emotional state and then either amplifying positive emotions or gently shifting negative ones through changes in your behavior that affect the entire environment. If she's feeling playful, you might suggest moving to a location or engaging in an activity that enhances that playfulness. If she seems stressed or overwhelmed, you create moments of calm and peace through your own energy and behavior. The key is that you're not directly addressing her emotional state. You're creating environmental conditions that naturally lead to the emotional state you want to anchor to your presence. This technique is based on classical conditioning principles discovered by Ivan Pavlov, but applied to complex social situations. By consistently creating positive emotional experiences when you're around, her brain begins to associate those good feelings with you specifically. Over time, just thinking about you or seeing you triggers those positive emotional states, creating a powerful psychological pull that she experiences as attraction and desire. The sixth move is what I call strategic intellectual dominance through curious questioning. This isn't about showing off your intelligence or trying to impress her with your knowledge. Instead, it's about demonstrating your intellectual depth through the quality of questions you ask and the insights you offer. Research by psychologist Arthur Aaron showed that people become more attracted to those who ask them deep, thought-provoking questions that help them learn something new about themselves. The technique involves asking questions that reveal both your intellectual depth and genuine curiosity about her inner world. Instead of asking what she does for work, you might ask what aspect of her work she finds most intellectually challenging, or what drew her to that field initially. Instead of asking about her hobbies, you might explore what those activities provide for her emotionally, or how they've changed her perspective on life. These questions demonstrate that you think deeply about human motivation and psychology, while also showing that you're genuinely interested in understanding her at a level most men never attempt to reach. The power of this technique lies in its ability to create what psychologists call self-expansion, the feeling that interacting with you makes her more interesting to herself. When she discovers new aspects of her own personality and motivations through your questions, she begins to associate that self-discovery with you. You become the person who helps her understand herself better, which creates a powerful psychological bond that goes far beyond simple attraction. The seventh and final secret move involves controlled scarcity through temporal limitation. This is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of attraction, because most men implement it incorrectly by simply being unavailable or unresponsive. True scarcity isn't about being difficult to reach. It's about making the time you do spend together feel precious and finite in a way that creates anticipation rather than frustration. The technique involves creating natural endpoints to your interactions that leave her wanting more, but in a way that feels organic rather than manufactured. You might have a genuine reason to leave at a specific time, but instead of extending the interaction beyond that point, you acknowledge the constraint and use it to create anticipation for the next meeting. You become someone whose time is valuable not because you're playing games, but because you have a rich, full life that includes her but doesn't revolve around her. This works because of a principle behavioral economists call loss aversion. People value things more highly when they perceive them as potentially unavailable. By creating natural scarcity around your time and attention, you trigger her fear of missing out on something valuable. The key is that this scarcity must be authentic. It should stem from your genuine priorities and commitments, not from strategic unavailability. Robert Cialdini's research on influence demonstrated that scarcity increases desirability only when it's perceived as genuine. If she suspects you're creating artificial scarcity, the technique backfires and creates resentment rather than attraction. However, when she perceives that your time is limited because you have a compelling life full of interesting people and activities, she naturally wants to earn a larger share of that valuable time. The integration of these 7 moves creates what I call the invisible influence matrix, a combination of techniques that work together to create powerful attraction without any obvious effort on your part. She experiences you as naturally magnetic, confident, and intriguing without being able to identify specific behaviors that create these impressions. This ambiguity is crucial to the effectiveness of the approach because when attraction feels manipulated, it loses its power and creates resistance. The Stoic philosophers understood this principle intuitively. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the power of indirect influence, noting that the most effective leaders are those who inspire others to want to follow them, rather than those who demand compliance. In the context of attraction, this means creating conditions where she naturally wants to pursue you, rather than trying to convince her that she should be interested. What makes these techniques particularly powerful is their alignment with evolutionary psychology principles that operate below the level of conscious awareness. Dr. David Buss's research on human mating strategies revealed that women are unconsciously attracted to men who display indicators of genetic fitness, resource potential, and commitment capability. These 7 moves trigger responses to all 3 categories without explicitly demonstrating any of them. The strategic withdrawal demonstrates genetic fitness by showing that you're not desperate or needy, which suggests high mate value. The micro-mirroring creates emotional connection while maintaining independence, suggesting both empathy and strength. The controlled vulnerability shows self-awareness and emotional intelligence while maintaining overall competence. The pre-selection indicators demonstrate that others value you, suggesting resource potential. The environmental anchoring shows emotional intelligence and leadership capabilities. The intellectual dominance displays mental fitness and depth. Finally, the controlled scarcity suggests high mate value and creates competition anxiety. Understanding the psychology behind these techniques is crucial to implementing them effectively. Each move works because it triggers specific evolutionary adaptations that helped our ancestors survive and reproduce. When you use these techniques, you're not manipulating her. You're communicating in the language her subconscious mind is designed to understand and respond to. The key to mastering these techniques lies in consistent practice and authentic implementation. You cannot simply mimic these behaviors superficially and expect them to work. They must become natural extensions of your personality and genuine expressions of your confidence and self-worth. This requires what the Stoics called discipline of action, the commitment to consistently behave in alignment with your highest potential, regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that true power comes from self-mastery, not from the ability to control others. When you develop these 7 moves as authentic expressions of your masculine confidence, they become powerful not because they manipulate her responses, but because they reveal the most attractive version of yourself. The techniques work because they help you embody the qualities that are naturally attractive, rather than trying to fake those qualities through superficial behaviors. The implementation of these techniques requires what psychologists call unconscious competence, the ability to perform complex behaviors automatically without conscious effort. This level of mastery only comes through consistent practice and gradual integration of the techniques into your natural behavioral repertoire. Start with one technique at a time, practice it until it feels natural, then gradually add the others. Remember that the goal is not to become a different person, but to become the most attractive version of yourself. These techniques should enhance your natural personality, not replace it. If you're naturally introverted, you'll implement these moves differently than someone who's naturally extroverted, but they'll be equally effective because they're working with your authentic personality rather than against it. The power of nonverbal seduction lies in its ability to create attraction that feels natural and inevitable rather than forced or manipulated. When you master these 7 secret moves, you'll find that women are drawn to you without being able to explain why. They'll describe you as magnetic, intriguing, or different from other guys, without being able to identify specific behaviors that create these impressions. This ambiguity is not a bug, it's a feature. When attraction feels mysterious and inexplicable, it becomes more powerful because she can't rationalize it away or defend against it. She simply finds herself thinking about you, looking forward to seeing you, and feeling drawn to spend more time with you. The techniques work by creating what psychologists call intrinsic motivation. She pursues you because she wants to, not because she feels she should, or because you've convinced her to. The ultimate goal of mastering these techniques is not just to attract women, but to become the kind of man who naturally attracts high-quality women without effort or manipulation. When you embody these principles authentically, you develop what the ancient Greeks called arete, excellence of character that naturally draws others toward you. You become someone who others want to be around not because of what you do, but because of who you are. This transformation requires patience, commitment, and the courage to be genuinely yourself while continuously growing and improving. The techniques I've shared today are tools to help you express your authentic masculine energy in ways that are naturally attractive. Use them wisely, practice them consistently, and watch as the quality of your interactions with women transforms in ways you never thought possible. The power to create irresistible attraction without saying a word is within your reach. You just need the knowledge and commitment to develop it.